Buckle up, because this one's a wild ride.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, talk about a book that keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Seriously. That's like every page is another twist. And for this deep dive, we're going to be looking at an excerpt that really digs into the big, ethical questions the book raises. Think unbreakable codes, government secrets, and the whole shebang.
Right, right. Because it's not just about, cool spy stuff and action. It's about the impact of all this tech,
Yeah, and where do we draw the line? I mean, imagine a world where any information can be locked away, completely, totally unbreakable encryption. Sounds great for privacy, right?
Sure, on the surface. But that's exactly what Digital Fortress digs into. What happens when that same technology falls into the wrong hands?
Right, that's where things get scary. I mean, the excerpt talks about how cryptography is like a double-edged sword. It can protect us, but it can also be used against us. It really makes you think about the balance between security and freedom.
Exactly. Like, how much privacy are we willing to give up in the name of security? And who gets to decide that?
Ugh, heavy stuff. And the book doesn't shy away from showing us just how messy those decisions can get, especially when you throw in things like national security and the potential for global chaos.
One of the things I find so compelling about Digital Fortress is how it shows how even people with good intentions can end up making choices they never thought they would, like Commander Strathmore.
Oh yeah, the head of crypto at the NSA? Talk about a character who's torn.
Right. I mean, he's convinced that unbreakable encryption is the only way to keep the country safe, but his methods, well, let's just say they get pretty extreme. He starts to justify some pretty questionable things in the name of national security.
Totally. And then you have Susan, the codebreaker, who uncovered this whole conspiracy within the NFA. She's forced to question everything she thought she knew about her job and the people she works with.
Her storyline really highlights the idea that power can be incredibly corrupting, even in the hands of those we trust to protect us.
And that brings into something else the excerpts mentioned, this idea of surveillance versus freedom. I mean, it's like a classic dilemma, right? But Digital Fortress brings it into the digital age in a way that feels super relevant today.
Oh, absolutely. Think about all the data that's collected about us online. Every website we visit, every purchase we make, every email we send. It's kind of unsettling when you stop to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, is it worth sacrificing our privacy for the sake of convenience or security? It's a question we all have to grapple with, whether we realize it or not.
And the book doesn't offer any easy answers. It just lays out the complexities of the issue and forces us to confront the tough questions.
It also makes you wonder, how much control do we really have over our own information in this digital world?
Right, and that leads us to another huge theme. The excerpt brings up the sheer speed of technological advancement. Digital Fortress, even though it was written a while ago, eerily predicted a lot of the stuff we're dealing with now.
Totally. It's crazy to think how much technology has changed even in the last few years. The excerpt even mentioned a specific example from the book where a virus nearly cripples the entire U.S. infrastructure, which is pretty terrifying when you think about the real world.
Like, remember that recent ransomware attack on that hospital?
Yeah, exactly. Scary stuff. I mean, it shows just how vulnerable we are to cyber attacks.
And that's why the excerpt's warning about the potential for technology to be misused is so important.
It's a reminder that we need to be thinking about the ethical implications of technology, not just the cool new gadgets and features.
We have a responsibility to use this technology wisely, both individually and as a society.
So I guess the big takeaway here is that the ethical dilemmas surrounding digital security aren't going anywhere. And if anything, they're getting more complicated by the day.
It's like a constant evolution, isn't it? I think the real question Digital Fortress leaves us with is, what kind of digital future do we want to build? And that's a question that each of us has to answer.